I'm Evan Nappen.
And I'm Teddy Nappen.
And welcome to Gun Lawyer. So, the New Jersey Democrats are going to give gun owners a nightmare before Christmas. What they are doing is pushing a package of Second Amendment oppression upon us, and they decided that the perfect time to do it is right before Christmas. Monday, December 22nd, the Senate will be having a voting session, and they're going to be looking at bills that we're going to talk about right now. And you need to take action. You need to let the legislators know that you oppose this. Hopefully, you belong to the Association of New Jersey Rifle and Pistol Clubs. If not, you need to join. That's at anjrpc.org. They send out the news releases where you can immediately take action and let the legislature know your feelings on their oppression of our Second Amendment rights as they continue to attack them. Now, we have some very problematic laws that they're going to be trying to jam through, and I want to make sure that you're aware of what they are and what they mean. So we have what is A 4974, and its companion in the Senate is S 3893. This establishes criminal penalties for sale and possession of machine gun conversion devices. Now, of course, these things are already banned. They're already banned under federal law and state law. But New Jersey, you just can't ban something enough, right? So they're just duplicating here even more bans upon bans. This is supposedly addressing the so-called Glock triggers, but New Jersey usually finds a way to expand it to all kinds of other nonsense, and we've seen these things lead often to false charges over devices that are not designed to convert to machine guns, but instead designed to simply improve accuracy in a trigger or those kind of things. So these things are just problematic, and they're just putting bans on top of bans, and they just want to make sure their name's on a piece of law where they're, quote, doing something about it, to sell as red meat to their base. So we have that to deal with. Additionally, we have 4975, and the Senate companion bill is 3894. This establishes a crime of possessing digital instructions to illegally manufacture firearms and firearm components. Now, keep in mind, back in 2018, Murphy signed a law banning the use and sale of these digital files already, but this bill is even worse, as the mere possession of the files will result in incredibly harsh penalties, even if you unknowingly possess them on a long forgotten computer, etc. So New Jersey is turning firearm information, pure firearm digital information, into the equivalent of possessing child pornography. And simple possession of the digital file itself doesn't matter, that you had never had any intention to actually build a firearm, but this gun information is itself being turned into contraband. Now, of course, this brings in First Amendment issues as well as Second Amendment issues, and I'm sure this will as well be subject to challenge. But nonetheless, it puts gun owners at risk that utilize internet and such for downloads of different things strictly for informational purposes. And even though you had no intent to 3D print a gun or not, or to use it with a CNC machine to make guns or even gun parts. So this bill is another oppression of Second Amendment rights, and this time an oppression of First Amendment rights. But since when do Democrats care about rights? So you need to oppose this as well. There is another bill, Assembly 4978. Senate companion is 3897. Now, this requires the Attorney General to report data regarding shootings that did not result in bodily injury. And this type of data accumulation is used so then they can twist it into political fodder to further pass other Second Amendment oppression laws. This is their game. So this is a step in, focusing on their potential discharge law, making accidents into crimes, using it to become automatic licensing disqualifiers, what become essentially per se felonies. This is how their evil works. This is what they do. This is their machinations, and this is the beginnings of them laying the groundwork to do that very thing. And we've seen this playbook before as they put data together that they then abuse in the manner that suits their purposes. So, of course, we have to fight this. Incredibly serious other bill that's in the nightmare before Christmas is 4981. Senate companion is S 3900. Now, this bill is a gun owner gulag enhancement bill. This law will take the gun owner gulag and make it even worse. So, as you should be familiar, but I want to make sure you are, New Jersey has the gun owner gulag, which is New Jersey's elimination of cash bail. In getting rid of cash bails, like so many progressive blue states took those actions to do that in the specifically during the defund police movement and all that. You normally hear about the cashless bails being utilized where actual criminals, bona fide bad guys, rapists, murderers, etc., are put in a revolving door and released very quickly out in the street, particularly if they have other characteristics that the left is favoring, such as being illegally in the country and things like that. They want those people out fast. So it gets used in that way. But when it comes to weaponization of it against gun owners, well, that's a different story. They want to imprison us, okay? So they want to make sure that any gun owner that has a problem, well, they're going to be subject to the gulag, where they're going to be held without bail until their trial, because there is no more bail in Jersey. And what happens is the prosecutor seeks what is called pretrial detention. And if pretrial detention is granted, you're going to sit in jail, have been proven guilty of nothing, until your trial. And that can be months or years. So this is the gulag, and that's how it operates. Well, it's bad enough because we fight these gulag cases all the time, trying to get gun owners out, because just about any gun offense is felony level. New Jersey calls them crimes, and they're normally warrant offenses where you get arrested and then you're put through the gulag, where you're held for 48 hours while the prosecutor decides whether to seek pretrial detention or not. And then their policies are generally every gun case they seek the gulag, which is to hold you without bail. So you're going to be held at least normally another 5 days before your hearing, where your attorney will finally get to argue to get you out. And if your attorney is not successful in doing that, you are staying in with no bail. Well, this law is an enhancement to that, so that it will allow the court to take even more time on any firearm offense, where they get to hold for yet another 7 days, so that a operability report can somehow be provided regarding operability of a firearm, which is often irrelevant to the criminal charge, especially in New Jersey, where operability is not even necessarily required for a firearm conviction. But here, the abuse of it will be added into the gulag's initial holding of the gun owner. So now you're going to be arrested on the warrant charge on whatever the allegation of the firearm offense is, even though you're innocent. Won't matter. It's a gun offense. So that 48 hours, the prosecutor, by way of their policy, is going to hold you seeking pretrial detention. Then that pretrial detention hearing has to get scheduled within the arguably 5 days, and normally it's about that 5 days before you have the hearing. But we get to that hearing and they say, oh no, we want another 7 days at least here, the 7 days, to get an operability report. So now you're going to be in jail for approximately 2 weeks. 2 weeks without bail, because there is no bail. And that's just to get you to the hearing so your attorney can try to argue to defeat the prosecutor's motion for pretrial detention. And they're going to now throw this into the mix. So you can figure any gun arrest, you're falsely accused of being in a sensitive place. You're falsely accused of possession of an assault firearm. You're falsely accused of unlawful possession of your handgun. All the kind of false charges and gun rights suppression that I deal with all the time in practice. Well, you're going to figure you're going to be at least 2 weeks in jail now before we can even get you out, so they can fight the charge that will eventually get you acquitted of. Isn't that cute? And that's if your attorney knows how to get you out and succeeds in doing so. Because if not, you'll just sit in jail until your trial to finally prove that. So this is the just horrible addition to the gun owner gulag. These bills need to be fought, and they need to be fought vigorously. Make sure you make your voices heard. Make sure you belong to ANJRPC, the Association of New Jersey Rifle and Pistol Clubs. They have a full-time paid lobbyist. They have a vigorous process here trying to fight this, but of course we're dealing with a state where it is a tremendous battle for the forces of constitutional rights protection here to succeed. It's a difficult, challenging environment, but we have to keep up the fight, and we have to make our voices known, and we can make changes. As a matter of fact, that Gulag bill, the association was able to change the original form where it was indefinite amount of time until they finally got the report. At least it's been modified to a mere 7 days extra. So now it's only 2 weeks guilty of nothing in jail simply because you lawfully exercised your rights in New Jersey. So these laws are terrible. They are more oppression from our oppressors. We need to fight it and make sure you do. Now, on a little bit of a Christmas gift here, despite of the nightmare that the Democrats are placing upon us, I do want to mention that thanks to President Trump and his appointment of judges throughout the land, not the least of which, of course, is the Supreme Court getting 3 conservative constitutionalist judges there, but also his ability to add to the judges of the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. And because of President Trump, particularly adding the last 2 judges that are constitutional judges and understand the significance of the Second Amendment, the full panel of 14 judges has agreed to hear the appeal in the Siegel versus Platkin, which is the carry killer lawsuit that challenges all these sensitive places and the other onerous restrictions that were put forward in the carry killer bill. And as you may know, the initial appeal with the 3-judge panel, the 3-judge panel that had ruled not tremendously in our favor, that has been wiped out. And now the full panel of 14 judges are going to hear and decide the carry killer bill. This is very good news for us. This is something that makes me cautiously optimistic that we're going to see some protection and our Second Amendment rights enforced. And it's very, very important. Of course, New Jersey fought tooth and nail to try to stop the full panel from granting the en banc full panel, but the association, particularly my good friend and colleague Dan Schmutter, was successful here in having that full panel take the case. So this will also bode well, because by getting a decision that knocks out most, if not all, of the carry killer bill, it'll also lay the groundwork for the Supreme Court of the United States if we start getting splits in the circuits over these sensitive place gambit that the Second Amendment oppressionists have pulled after Bruin to try to limit our rights. We may, in fact, see even a national case killing it permanently for the country. But here in Jersey, we stand in good stead. At the moment, keep in mind that at the moment, where can you carry and what are the categories where you can and can't right now at the current state? You still, remember, cannot lawfully carry, even with a carry permit, within 100 feet of a public gathering, demonstration, or event requiring a government permit. You're still barred from zoos, parks, beaches, recreational facilities, or areas owned or controlled by the state, county, or local government unit designated as a gun-free zone. Publicly owned or leased libraries and museums, bars or restaurants where alcohol is served, and any other sites or facilities where alcohol is sold for consumption on the premises, entertainment facilities, casinos and related facilities, and healthcare facilities. Now, you currently can lawfully carry with a carry permit, of course, while this appeal is still not resolved, okay? Now, these things are still blocked, though, and you're able to carry, all right? This isn't a complete list, but essentially in vehicles, as you may recall, the carjacker protection law that was built into the carry killer, saying that you couldn't have your loaded legal gun on your person in your vehicle, that is still blocked, and we may carry in our vehicle in that manner. Private property open to the public is no longer and still is not sensitive place. Public film locations we're able to carry. Additionally, the ruling is still in effect regarding blocking the insurance requirement. As you may recall, at some point, Murphy issued executive order banning the sale of so-called murder insurance, where you had gun owner protection programs, and then proceeded in the carry killer bill to mandate by law that you get actual murder insurance, meaning insurance if someone commits an intentional act with a firearm, essentially murdering somebody. That's been blocked, so we don't have to have insurance to have a carry license. And blocking the certain permit procedures and requirements that were more administrative in nature. So this is where we're standing, but the good news is with the full panel reviewing it, I'm very excited to see that outcome, and so should you. So there is still hope. There's hope that the judiciary is going to speak for our rights. And that same full panel will be also considering New Jersey's magazine ban and so-called assault firearm ban. So we're hopeful for some very good outcomes here, and we'll keep you informed here on gun lawyer. Let me also mention our good friends at We Shoot. That's where Teddy and I both shoot and where we get our training, and you will love We Shoot. We Shoot is a great indoor range right in Lakewood, conveniently off the Parkway. They constantly run great sales, and they have great service, a fantastic pro shop, and a state-of-the-art range. Great training. Really, we can't give it high enough praise. We love We Shoot, so will you. Check out WeShootUSA.com. They have a great website with beautiful photographs, and you don't want to miss the We Shoot girls that are there posing with some of the finest guns that you will ever see. So make sure you go to We Shoot and take advantage of that fantastic resource for gun owners right in New Jersey. And let me also shamelessly plug my book, which is New Jersey Gun Law, the Bible of New Jersey gun law. Make sure you get the book, folks. You need the book. That is the guidebook to keeping you safe out of jail and not committing go-foos in New Jersey. It's 120 topics, all question and answer. It fills you in so you will know what the law is. It is the guidebook used by thousands and thousands of gun owners throughout New Jersey. You can get your copy today by going to evannappen.com, evannappen.com. Hey, Teddy, what do you have for us today?
Well, one of the things it's the holidays, Christmas and everything's coming along, and all the wins that have been coming through and all the crazy insanity that you've described. I always think back to the show that you introduced me to, Paladin. And there's a particular episode, I think it was even the Christmas episode, where Paladin's there. It's a whole deal with the like there's a small, I think it's like a house living out there. And there's the ending line to the whole episode is, it's Christmas. He's saying to the guy, it's Christmas. This is the one day of the year where we pretend there's no evil. And that kind of sticks with me in the idea of this is supposed to be the time spent with family, and particularly we can pretend and not think about all the anti-gun jerks and the gun rights suppressors. This is the time to enjoy Christmas movies, particular ones that involve firearms. So as I was scanning through the internet, I saw one. I love this article. The top 10 Christmas movies with guns.
Hey,
So
that is what Christmas should be about. Guns.
yeah, exactly. And to start things off, of course, to go with the most controversial one, which is Die Hard.
Which we will agree is a Christmas movie.
Correct. I've heard all the debates
Because
back and
ho,
forth.
ho,
but-
ho, I have a machine gun. How does it get any less Christmas than that?
And quite simply, it's not Christmas without Hans Gruber falling off the Nakatomi building.
And, yeah, and you know what gun he had, right?
So you had Bruce Willis with his Beretta 92 with the famous
Of course.
scene. But there's also the MP5, the
Yippee-ki-yay, yippee-ki-yay.
and
You
the
know what?
P7, the P7 M13.
B7. B7, that's what Hans there, I believe, had.
Correct, and and it was very good gunplay in that part, and where he's no bullets, it's like, where he tricks him. The next one, this is actually it's one of those where it's like, what the heck is this movie? I had to watch it though. I think you were there when we watched Fat Man.
Oh, God, yeah.
It is probably the funniest, like weirdest film you could watch.
Right, right.
Where you have Mel Gibson. And it's this whole plot to murder Santa Claus, and it's him fighting, fighting Boyd Crowder from Justified, Walter Goggins. And it's a crazy gunplay between a 1911 and the Fat Man using a Colt Walker.
Yep. Definitely
It's
an entertaining film.
yeah, it's just one of those. I was like, okay, interesting. Now, this is technically Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is it's a Christmas heist of a film. I don't know if you ever saw it with Robert Downey Jr.
I may have.
Kind of an action comedy. They're carrying their Vector CP1.
Oh, vectors are
Is
in it, huh? Okay.
Yeah, and of course another piece HKP7. It's kind of one of those you kind of spot there, but I was like, I didn't realize that was involved
Well,
Christmas.
You know, the P7 used to be the pistol of the New Jersey State Police, but they had over 40 accidental discharges with it, and they gave it up. And that's because, although it was marketed as being one of the safest guns, the problem is it's a front squeeze that cocks the gun when you squeeze the front, unlike a 1911 that has a safety on the back. This squeeze cocks from the front, and the problem is if you're not practiced and trained well enough, when you draw the gun out of a holster, you're cocking it as you pull it out, and that creates a situation that is not exactly the safest situation to be in. And there were numerous ADs with that gun. So something to keep in mind. I think they're cool and a very interesting design, but I remember seeing Superintendent Pagano talking about it, and he basically said, "Hey, look, it's not the gun's fault. He's blaming his men." How nice of him!
Nice.
For not
Very
having,
kindly.
yeah, right. So that was that episode of the gun. In theory, seeming like it may have been one of the safest guns, but in reality, it was prone to needing a lot of training to make sure that you didn't cock it until you were ready to. So there you go.
The one I will highlight, though, I always thought was funny is he put on Home Alone 1 and 2 because here's the reason. Because remember, the kid he plays that clip, the black and white movie where he keeps tricking the bad guys. It's
Yeah.
Well, I believe you, but my Tommy gun don't. And it's like, you've been smooching with everybody. Snuffy, Gail, Leo, Little Mo with the gimpy leg, Pitt, Boney Bob, Cliff. And the guy thinks he's actually he's sleeping with all these individuals.
Great.
But yeah, the Thompson 1921 AC submachine gun. The actual movie is Angel with Filthy Souls.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So that was actually a clip from an actual movie.
Yeah, so that's I thought that was funny. And of course, the Christmas Story with the Red Ryder BB gun.
Oh, the classic of all clay. And in New Jersey, that's a firearm. It's not a BB. It's not just a little old BB gun here. It is bona fide, defined as a firearm.
Yeah. And they threw in some honorable mentions, like in White Christmas, where the start is at the Battle of the Bulge. So you have the M1 Garand coming into play. You have that, and then
As
of
Patton
course,
said, the greatest battle rifle ever devised.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
And then you have Scrooge with Santa wielding the XM556 minigun.
Okay.
And then also Bill Murray with his, remember he had a stainless snub-nosed revolver because he's freaking out that a ghost is there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they couldn't
Think of
determine
that
the make.
too much with him and
right.
guns, but yeah, unless it's
Yeah.
some gun for taking out ghosts, right?
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Oh, and of course, Our Majesty's Secret Service, James Bond and Christmas, what could you want more? With his Walter PPK.
Oh yeah, James Bond sometimes had some screwy gun stuff. I remember one of them where he has an AR-7 and the guy's talking about it, and it's a 25 caliber AR. I'm like, it's not 25, it's 22. But hey, what do they know?
Yeah. This is just a fun list, and it's something I just kind of like, wow, I didn't really consider these as like Christmas movies, but I guess so. So
Well, as long as it has guns in it, we'll declare them to be Christmas movies.
Fair enough. If it has a gun in
that?
it, it's a Christmas movie. That's the
That's
standard.
it. That's the standard from now on. From now on, that's the standard.
There you go.
Well, that's good stuff, Teddy, and soon we'll be enjoying Christmas guns. That's the deal. That's the deal. Hey, it is very important that we discuss this week's GoFu, which is the gun owner F-up. These are mistakes that actual clients make that causes them problems, expensive problems. You get to learn for free. And this week's GoFu is about printing. And I don't mean printing with your computer printer. I mean about your gun showing that you're carrying concealed. Now, in New Jersey, it's not illegal to print, believe it or not. The gun has to be concealed, but it doesn't address printing while concealed. However, in New Jersey, you don't want to print because not only do we need to carry concealed, but you want to keep that concealment private and secret, because New Jersey is loaded with all kinds of people that are scared of guns, aren't used to guns, and they can end up calling police because they think someone's carrying a gun, and next thing you know, even though you're legal to carry, you also give away tactical advantage if people can make you as carrying. And this is an issue where individuals can make false accusations against you if they believe that you're carrying. So you want to make sure you don't print. When you conceal carry in Jersey, make sure you are as discreet as possible. Also, you don't want to inadvertently end up in a sensitive place and have a gun identified on you because you're printing. You shouldn't be in a sensitive place, but if you're printing and in a sensitive place, then you're going to have a bigger problem. So be very conscientious about when you carry, whether or not you're printing or whether your method of carry allows for inadvertent display of your firearm, even for a moment, because you want to stay discreet. You want your concealed carry to be concealed carry, and ultimately that gives you, if nothing else, a tactical advantage of surprise should you need your gun. This is Evan Nappen and Teddy Nappen reminding you that gun laws don't protect honest citizens from criminals. They protect criminals from honest citizens.
Gun Lawyer is a Counterthink media production. The music used in this broadcast was managed by Cosmo Music, New York, New York. Reach us by emailing evan@gun.lawyer. The information and opinions in this broadcast do not constitute legal advice. Consult a licensed attorney in your state.